Hi, my name is Jeannie Kolkloff, and I'm the owner of Riveting Trips, active luxury travel design. And I am going to record this meeting. So if you want to watch it again, because we got two fabulous guests here and kind of like, I know there's gonna be lots of notes for you to take, mental notes and stuff for you to learn about. So I just wanted to thank you for joining us on this spectacular visit through Costa Rica and Peru. We have two fabulous people here, Bernal Diaz and Cecilia Berrocal. I myself am the owner of Riveting Trips. Like I said, I'm based in Los Gatos, California, Northern California, for those of you who are in the Bay Area. And I curate travel itineraries for my clients. This year I was recognized as one of the top travel specialists for Condé Nast. It's a recognition only given to about 300, 400 travel advisors of 66,000 in the United States alone. If after tonight you are interested in traveling to either Costa Rica or Peru, let me know, or I can give you contacts and we can work on something. If you're interested in traveling outside of those areas, that's fine too. We do help with that. So without further ado, for today's presentation, we're gonna let Bernal from Costa Rica Expeditions speak first, and then he'll go for about 15, 20 minutes. And then Cecilia from the Peru Tourism Board will talk for about 15, 20 minutes. And then obviously you'll have questions at the end of each presentation to ask questions and stuff like that. But before I do that, I wanted to launch a poll. So it's gonna be, let's see, there are only 4 questions. And if you can just help us kind of get a feel for the room, that'd be great. There are 30 seconds or so for the poll. Okay, let's end the poll now. See if I can share results. So if our guests tonight can see, right, in terms of where people have been. Few of you been to Costa Rica, few of you been to Peru. In terms of when you will most likely travel, fall, winter 2021, spring 2022, summer 2022 maybe. And then what you're interested in learning about later on tonight or afterwards. COVID safety policies, right? Both countries are accepting Americans right now or travelers from the US off the beaten path itineraries. I think especially in today's COVID world, right? Food inspired itineraries, nice to know. Active itineraries, okay, great. I'm gonna stop sharing now. Before Bernal gives his presentation, I'm going to show a quick video. Let me find the video.
We have often been called the happiest country in the world, and there's many good reasons for that. They all start with pura vida. It's a saying that means pure life, but really, it's something you experience more than explain. It's the way we greet each other, the way we live, the community we build, how we care for each other and the environment around us. In a world that can often feel out of balance, we have found a peaceful path to what matters most. The result is a country like no other that dares to think differently and shines from day to night. Where visitors come for the natural beauty and unforgettable experiences that return for the love of the people. Where you are always on a journey of discovery and have never felt more alive. Where we act from our heart and welcome you to do the same. In Costa Rica, life's essentials found here.
Doesn't that make you want to go? Okay, so while I queue up Bernal's presentation, Bernal, did you want to introduce yourself really quickly?
Yes. Thanks, everyone, and thanks for listening to us today. It is a great pleasure to have the opportunity to share with you. My name is Bernal Diaz, and I work for Costa Rica Expeditions. I've been with the company for over 25 years. And then I started working in tourism since 1983. It's been quite a long time and in different areas, but mostly abroad with companies or institutions from the United States, like World Wildlife Fund and National Geographic, Stanford University, and so many more that were represented in Costa Rica. So we did have that role. I worked myself on board ships, expedition ships, and then I visited the Americas, starting in Alaska down to the end of the world on Easter Island. So it was a great opportunity to get acquainted with the wonders of and natural wonders of America as a continent. So great pleasure to be here, and then I'm eagerly looking for a chance to share a little bit more with you.
Okay. Can you see the presentation for now?
Yes, I can see it. Can we start now?
Yep.
Okay, I decided to call the presentation A Glimpse of Costa Rica. It is a short presentation. Costa Rica Expeditions has been in business since 1978, and it was started by Michael Kay, who came from the States. He was a whitewater rafting guide. He fell in love with Costa Rica and stayed here. The ox cart wheel that you see on this first slide is a symbol of Costa Rica, as well as the Pura Vida that you heard on the video. That actually the first time I heard the Pura Vida, I was just probably 5 years old, and my aunt came to me and said, Pura Vida. And I said, wow, that really marked us all. And then we really have this that naturally came out as a symbol as well to represent all ticos, as the way we call Costa Ricans. Next one, please. And this is the first question that we always have. I was noticing that some very few people have been here. I wonder, we are very close to you in the United States. It is very easy to fly to Costa Rica from almost everywhere in the States. We have short flights to Florida. You can go to Texas and many of the hubs like in Atlanta, and they're all from Costa Rica. It's very easy to move around. And besides, we have a lot more to share. And then now we're having multinational trips also with Panama, Costa Rica and Panama. They've been allies on presentations. I actually did a trip, Costa Rica and Panama, for many, many years, almost 25 years on board ships, and that was fantastic. So we present a lot of the Central American character from Costa Rica, and relatively in a very, very short distance from the States. Next one, please. This is very important for me. Why Costa Rica? And I have to say, we're very proud of all this. Costa Rica keeps about 25% of the territory as national parks, and this is true, or private reserves. When we visit and we go outside and we go in the wild, we're probably all the time visiting a national park or a private reserve, which has been the only real way to keep a balance. Make money, keep your trees standing, don't cut them down, and they'll give you more money than down on the ground. This is actually what's been happening in our country. The people, the private individuals, keep their farms, and they just keep their forest and their wildlife, the species and the wonders and waterfalls and everything. And that's exactly what we sell to the public. Second, we have learned to live in peace without a standing army. This is also true. 1949, the president who won the election in the time, first act of government was going to the military fortress and saying, we abolished the army for good in Costa Rica. Since then, we only have police. And then, of course, the next question is, how do you keep your enemies out and so forth? But it's been better without an army, believe me. We've been really destining all these funds for education, which is true also for Costa Rica, with the highest literacy rates, over 95% in the country. Costa Rica established free and mandatory education in 1869. This is amazing. This is just so early. I mean, people were thinking of other things while we were thinking of education for about everybody. Human rights and women vote. This is really interesting too. In a small town called La Tigra, which means like the female tiger in San Carlos, the women from La Tigra decided to organize, and they went out to vote for the first time, and they participated on the election. We also have, with the new achievements or the new goals, carbon neutral for the next 3 or 5 years. We're having hydrogen buses. We're having most of energy production with hydroelectrical resources. We're having eolic energy as well everywhere in the country. And we're really coming down with burning the traditional fuel. And then we are really working hard on keeping our levels of methane and other gases down as well. So we're working on the electric train and electric vehicles now pay no tax and no circulation tax. That's another encouragement. We're going from traditional fuel to electricity. The robust health system and social security since 1943. This is amazing. Also the social reforms and the democratic institutions, but the social security that covers everybody. I must say, anecdotally, I went through a very serious accident, and I mean, the government with the social security, with the medicine covered all my procedures, which I would never be able to do it myself, ever. Not even in a private hospital. So this is something as solidarity. We pay, and then tomorrow you receive, or the other people will receive from what you pay today. And this is exactly, it's been working extremely well since then. And an absolutely wonderful and natural destination. Yes, it is. I have to say, I must say, that's what the people will say when they leave. They come, they learn, they explore, they discover the people of Costa Rica, very friendly, very open, very natural, and then they leave very happy, very satisfied, with great memories. Next one, please. What do we offer to visitors? I mean, this is not Cancun. We're not really, I had nothing against Cancun. We're not massive. We are private, small. We have sightseeing. We have lodges with maybe 12 cabins with great conditions. There's upscale nature, of course, bird watching, trails for observation, the beaches, the activities and attractions, awesome accommodations, I have to say, deluxe hotels, lodging in the rain. I mean, there's something for everyone. And then the best people to take care of your precious time during the holidays. We offer that. You can see one in the corner on the left down, and that's exactly one of my favorite places. Exactly, is Lapa Rios. You can look at the cabins. They look like an Indian tribe got lost in the forest. That's where you go in Costa Rica. That's where you stay, away from everybody else. Privacy, private places, very open, and then that has to do a lot with success with the conditions we're having now on these pandemics. Next one, please. Activities, but in perfect harmony with nature, which is the most, this is the key to understand success, because I believe that we've been very successful. We have a north, we're following the same star. We've been on this for over 30 years with ecotourism, but the activities like rappelling on the river, you are not hurting the river at all. Like exploring the forest from a basket in an aerial tram, a gondola, you are not hurting the floor. You are observing everything from the above. There was some challenges while you install it, but once that is, animals and wildlife and everything comes back, and it's totally quiet. It's all electric and no sounds whatsoever that will disturb the environment. Zip lining, canopy, rappelling, and crossing over hanging bridges, surf on this. That's something, I would never think of this, but both of my daughters are surfers, and they love it, and they say we have tournaments and we're sending people out and the people come in. So we're having a great array of activities and good harmony with this national park environs or the private reserves. Next one, please. And then, of course, the differences and the variety of environs that we can show the people that come to visit. You need to come. You need to come to Costa Rica and see it. But we have volcanoes, we have rainforest, we have the beach on the Caribbean and on the Pacific. You can travel from the Caribbean to the Pacific in just a few hours. I mean, I've been to wonderful countries in other destinations, and then it takes several days to go from one side or the other. Ours is only like 125 kilometers. The maximum is 150 kilometers from coast to coast. So, if we would have better roads, we don't, you could really go in only like 3 hours or so. And now it takes like 5 or 6 hours. But this is how it is. Rio Celeste, which is one of the pictures in there. It's a fantastic place where the water is blue and the feelings are incredibly high when you just take the trails.
Which one is that?
Next one, please. Yes.
Rio Siesta. Which one did you say was Rio Siesta? Or?
Beg your pardon me? The Rio Celeste is the one down on the right. There you go, on the right. That you can see that is actually blue. No, the other one on the right. There you go. You can see the waterfall with Rio Celeste. There's a calcium carbonate in the water that will reflect the light, and so it looks like the sky. And then it really blends. In one point, you can go and see how the fresh water is coming and the blue water is coming. It mixes in this incredible river, Rio Celeste. Holy river for the Maleku indigenous population of Costa Rica, and now for tourism, a real treasure. Next one, please. I would like to, I wanted to keep this short so you would have questions, and then hopefully that I can answer and then really enlighten you a little more. And my interest was not going beyond my time, because that happens when you are in tourism, you tend to talk too much. But I just wanted to give the opportunity for questions, and then see you soon in Costa Rica. That's what I say. We really have our growing numbers, the people that want to visit us, and then the levels of satisfaction is incredibly high, I must say, for the people that come, and then they really have a unique experience. So I'm open for some questions if you want to.
I'm going to stop sharing here. Let's see if there's any questions. Okay, so one of the questions that was asked is it safe to drive in Costa Rica?
Yes, well, this is one thing. It is important questions, and I'll be very honest. Our highways are not super highways at all. We really don't have like that infrastructure that you would expect to have in Southern California. I used to live in Southern California, in Los Angeles, for a long time. And then of course, it is nothing like that. Is it safe in terms of driving yourself and not being bothered by anybody that would like to take things from you or something? Yes, it is safe. We have rent-a-cars, and we just have a protocol of safety and say, well, the usual. I mean, don't leave your car with all your luggage in there. Don't do this and don't do that. But it just basically is a common sense, and we tell everyone. We don't hide anything on that, because this is, of course, a reality. The people drive, and we don't encourage that. As travel agents, myself and Costa Rica Expeditions, we sell tours with vans, guides, and drivers. And then we just give that responsibility to the Costa Ricans. We know how to move around and find the roads without many signals. So don't bother, don't do that. And they just simply try to do it yourself. Sometimes could be a little challenging. But yes, I would say in general, it is the least of what we do personally in our agency. But yes, we can do that.
Okay, you got a few more questions. The next one is, what is the weather like? How hot does it get? I guess the seasonality and the climates in Costa Rica, and do they differ from the zones, different zones?
It is fantastic. The weather is always fantastic. I have to say that we have 2 seasons, but it is not true that when you are in rainy season, the whole country is rainy. That's not true. That is the common belief that, oh my goodness, I don't go in a rainy season because everything is going to be rainy. Let's go like this. Caribbean and Pacific, separated by the continental divide that goes basically to 12,000 feet in elevation. So that separates the country in two completely. September, October, go to the Caribbean. Yes, it is the least rain that you're going to have and the wonderful weather on the Caribbean. While September, October, don't come to the Pacific or Central Valley. You're going to be disappointed unless, you know, like Doc said, you like to be there with your rain gear and all that. So how hot does it get? It depends where you go. Guanacaste, average temperatures will be in around 80, 85 or so. The Caribbean, it's a little more humid. And then, of course, that'll be something around 80, 85. In general, almost everywhere, you can go from the mid 70s to 80, almost everywhere you go. The thing is the humidity. When you have an increased humidity, the impact of the temperature, of course, you feel it a lot more. Right now, I'm on Central Valley myself right now, and then it is rainy season. It's raining out there. But every morning is a great chance because I just had the rain at 3 p.m. Before that, it was all beautiful and sunny. So you can still have all the time to go and explore yourself, to go everywhere you want to go. And then later on, well, get into your place, have the cup of tea or cup of coffee, or maybe a glass of wine later and enjoy the rain. But yes, it never gets too hot and it doesn't really get too cold. I mean, you can go to Irazu volcano. You would have to go there to find something like maybe what? Like 10, 15 centigrades or something like 50s or 60s. But that's only if you go up to the mountains. And that is something nice to do. On the way from one side or the other of the country, you can go by the central area with nice, comfortable temperatures, and then you go and experience the temperatures on the Caribbean.
Okay, another question, two other questions we have. One is about turtle nesting season in Costa Rica. When is that? And then how about volcanoes? How many volcanoes are there and are they accessible?
Yes, this is great. I have to tell you. Once again, we have Caribbean from the Pacific side. Let's talk about the Caribbean. Let's go to Tortuguero, which is, imagine, Tortuga is turtle. Tortuguero is the place of turtles. And then you have that on the Caribbean. July, right now, it is the time to come and see the green turtles. First of all, you can go and explore the beach and you see how they're laying their eggs. And then about 71 to 80 days later, hatchling happens. So July, August, September, October, great on the Caribbean for the green turtles, the Cheloniamidas. And if you go to the Pacific, okay, later on September and October, you go to the Pacific and then you have the turtles also by the thousands. There's some places that you cannot walk on the beach because the great arrival of turtles, you cannot walk. You just have to observe from the distance because it's no way to walk on the beach. So the turtles is a great attraction, but the best possibility to see them and really enjoy it is on the Caribbean, July throughout September, October with the hatchling. Nothing better, and I've done it myself as a guide, that going in the morning to the beach and see the little caves, like the nests when they're getting open, and see the tiny little turtles finding their way, and boom, they just need to go quickly or they've been taken by, dogs or vultures or anything, but they just go quickly into the water. That's a great thing to see. Volcanoes. You will be amazed. We really have over 200 volcanic systems in Costa Rica. It's just amazing. It's only like 20,000 square miles, and then we have that number. Of course, not all of them are active. Don't be afraid. Come to Costa Rica. You have, at this moment, 5 active volcanoes. Are they accessible? Well, yes, relatively yes. Boaz volcano is active. It is accessible. You can enjoy a trip and go exactly to the rim and look down on the crater, 1 mile wide crater and about 1,000 feet deep. And you can see the fumaroles and the crater. That is, cannot think of anything more accessible than that. You can go to Arenal and observe the volcano from a certain distance. You can go to Rialba volcano and climb the cone and go to an active volcano on a hike. that is fantastic as well. Are they accessible? My answer is yes. Sometimes a little more hiking, sometimes less, and sometimes it's nothing. It's just simply you can drive almost to the rim of a crater like Boas volcano.
Another question was, if someone were there for about a 2-month trip, would there be enough to do, and in which part would you stay in? And another question was, is it possible to camp in the rainforest? Is that allowed?
Camp in the rainforest 不要命了吗？
2 months in Costa Rica, in my opinion, is happening now during the pandemics. The people are staying here and they're working while they visit, and they just sightseeing around. 2 months, if you would be just a regular tourist, it'll be too long, like almost anywhere. But now, with the chances to go and find incredible deals to, telework, certainly it is good. Can you camp in the forest? If it is in a private reserve, yes, you can. If it is in a national park, no, you cannot. National parks are able to survive thanks to the meticulous regulations. And they're really going it is very important to keep those regulations. There's a few exceptions, like if you go on the Pacific near the beach, and then you can go camping on very, very few places. But rainforest camping, no. However, lodging in the rainforest, yes. And there's so much of this lodging available from all different budgets. I'm not just saying that everything is for the super high. You can find lodging for regular budgets, nice budgets that would just be accomplished with this grade. But no, it is not really like allowed everywhere in national parks.
And then another fault is, how's the food in Costa Rica? What are the prices? And the Cabo Blanco Nature Reserve, is it a protected area?
I will start with the Cabo Blanco Nature Reserve, our first protected area back in the 1955. Imagine, by the 70s, when we established the national parks, Cabo Blanco was already a privately protected area. And it was what we call totally protected area in those days. We opened that and we changed that because there's no reason to keep something totally protected and no one goes. The only way to keep a balance on natural protected areas is simply by letting the people around make some money. Let them in, enjoy it, go in a rational way, hire guides, go with the people, and then certainly enjoy the area. But we need to keep them moving. The moment that we close something entirely, doesn't work. We have that in Carrara. Carrara was closed until 1983, and then they decided to open up to visitors, and then we started getting the financing that we needed to keep that going. So there's no use to keep many areas if you don't make any money, and the areas will be simply vandalized by poachers and many people that have other interests. I remember something about prices. Was that the question?
What kind of foods are in Costa Rica? And then what are the prices, I guess, like eating out, dining out, stuff like that?
There is everything. I would say that the possibilities have been really growing a lot. Gastronomic trips are possible now. Every hotel has its own style. What's the food in Costa Rica? I will not compare to other destinations. I don't want to say, because there are other destinations, it's probably their main thing. But yes, you can go around. What type? Seafood. If you are at the beach, you're going to find based on the famous rice and beans with everything else. If you are in the Caribbean, you're going to find the other options of the local food available, but it's been growing. And then, as I say, since the offer has been growing, now you can find about everything. I must say that perhaps for a traveler, Costa Rica does not have the best prices. And this is something that I like to mention. Other people say, well, aren't you a little high? Yes, the cost of living, how to keep this and how to keep that. Yes, taxes are a little higher, so hotels and that. But I have to say that the results at the long run have been proven right, and then this is how we've been keeping the country like it is right now with the levels of that I mentioned on my presentation.
Another question that I guess maybe for the person that wanted to go out and about, what about bugs and mosquitoes in Costa Rica? And then another question about Isla de Coco. Del Coco, could you tell us a little bit about that? Is it possible to go diving?
Oh my goodness, yes. Yes, I would like to say first about bugs and mosquitoes. You can find sometimes more mosquitoes in the city than you can find in the forest. And this is true. If you are in the forest, it's not only mosquitoes, there's a balance. The rainforest, it shows a balance on everything. You got one bug eating the other bug. We have one critter eating the other critter. You don't have to worry that much about bugs and mosquitoes. We don't have some of the type of bugs that will bother someone coming from a city, like bed bugs and stuff like that. We don't. The mosquitoes, you have to be, you have to use repellent and so forth. We always mention it, but it's not overwhelming. I must say, allow me to say that when I went to Galapagos, we went to see the flamingos. That's what I call overwhelming, because we have to cover with nets, and then they simply just kind of open a little bit to see the flamingo and close it out again. No, we don't have that problem. In general, it's well balanced. So you can go outside and you can really go outdoors without having a serious problem with bugs or mosquitoes. Of course, there are everywhere in the rainforest. You're going to find them there. Army ants could decide to enter your cabin, clean up everything, get all the roaches, take everything and go the other way. I've been in that position, myself. I tell, there were kids from a high school, say, hey, everybody out. Army ants are in there. They're doing their job. Let them in, let them out. It was 3 hours later that we could go back, and we found just the leaves of the roaches everywhere. So this is very funny, but true. It happens. Isla de Coco. I'm a diver. I'm a scuba diver. I'm Patty. And then there's not many people, not many Costa Ricans have been there. First of all, because it's 300 nautical miles away from our country. It's amazing that it belongs to us. It's a long story. I don't want to get into that because I know it very well, but believe me, it's a really mere coincidence that we own, so to speak, the Cocos Island. It's a perfect place for diving. My best dive in my life happened in Cocos Island. Jacques Cousteau said the same thing. National Geographic said the same thing. I went with National Geographic and they were documenting everything. It is incredible. There's no place to stay in Cocos Island. You cannot find a lodge, hotel, restaurant, nothing. You got to go with the boat, and then your hotel is your boat. You just go diving and come back. You go and explore the island and come back. And that's how we keep it well preserved. Crystal clear waters, great hammerheads. Never seen more hammerheads in your life. You go diving during the day, they're fine. Don't go diving in some areas during the night without the good knowledge. And of course, the dive masters will tell you where. But believe me, Cocos Island is a perfect place for the perfect dive. It's probably the best dive with Malpelo and down to Galapagos that I've done or anybody could do in their lives.
That sounds amazing. One last question, Bernal, is when is the best whale watching season in Costa Rica?
That is another, I love these questions. There's something that happens here. We are in a position where we have an encounter of the populations of whales from the south and the populations of whales from the north. So if you have winter time in July in the south, they are coming here and they're gonna be in our waters in July, August, September. Perfect for whale watching. And then you can see them, the cow with her calf in the water and everything. Okay. But at the same time, just a little later, when we are declining the population from the south, we start having the population from the north. So early October, November, December, and January, we're gonna have the Alaska ones. And the gene pool is enriched by the encounter of the populations from the south and the north. And this is how it happens. They encounter here. The young males follow the females here and they try to look for a chance. This is incredible struggle for life. Mom protecting the calf and this young one's looking for an opportunity with all the testosterone, looking for a chance. So that all happens here. It is great. We have a lot of respect for the whales. We have excursions out there in the water. You can go enjoy the whales safely, respectfully. I know about that, believe me. I've been in a Zodiac when a whale came to us. It was the only way to see them that close, but you don't go towards the whale. That's how we did it, and that's how we do it. That's the way I learned. Yeah, so great.
Thank you, Brunel. So
You're
if
welcome.
there's more questions, we'll wait till after the Peru Tourism Board presents. So I'm going to share their screen, their PowerPoint. Let's see. Can everybody see that? Cecilia, can you see that?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, so I'm going to, let's see. I know there's a way I can get rid of this side. There we go. Okay. Tell me when to go to the next page or next slide.
Yes, yes, please. Well, can you pass the slide? Yes, and the other one.
Okay.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you, Jenny. Well, hello everyone. My name is Cecilia Barrocal. I am the tourism board of Prom Peru, which is I'm the tourism specialist of Prom Peru, which is a tourism board. And well, I'm delighted to be here, and we appreciate the time you're giving us today. And so today I'm gonna give you some important facts about Peru, about my country, about the different activities that you can do in Peru, about also to learn more about my country, which is very diverse. And if you're not aware of it, I hope that with this general introduction, you can maybe encourage you to visit it one day. So, well, let's start. Peru is located in West Central South America on the Pacific, on the coast of the Pacific Ocean. Its capital is Lima, which is the largest city, and we have other major cities, like, for example, Arequipa and Cusco in the south, and, for example, Trujillo and Chiclayo in the north of Peru. Peru is divided in three main regions: the coast, the highlands, and the Amazon rainforest. We have a population of 33 million people, and the official language is Spanish. However, we have two remaining languages that comes from the Incas time, which is the Quechua and the Aymara. And these languages are still spoken in some parts of the highlands of Peru. Regarding the weather, it depends. It's summer from December to March, and from June to September is winter. But also varies very depending on the region. For example, we have tropical weather in the Amazon rainforest. We have, at the same time, we have an arid and mild temperature along the coast, and a frigid and cold temperature in the highlands of Peru. So the next, please. Okay, as I mentioned before, Peru is divided in three main regions: the coast, that corresponds like 12% of the territory; the highlands, that corresponds approximately the 28%; and the Amazon rainforest, that corresponds approximately the 60% of our territory, and is one of the great natural reserves on the planet. Also, and the next one, please. Also, Peru is already open to the US market. We are reopening our borders, we are reopening our flights, and we have daily nonstop flights from the main US gateways. Well, these are some of the gateways, like, for example, from Miami, from Dallas, from New York, from LA, from Dallas, from Houston. And the most important airlines that goes from these gateways are American, United, Delta Airlines, and also some regional airlines like LATAM. And the shortest flight can take like 5 hours, that takes from Miami, and the longest flight can take like 8 hours, that goes from LA. So we are not so far, we are very accessible, and we are very easy to visit. And the next one, please. Okay, I want to point out some our current protocols that we have for travelers who want to visit Peru. The most important is that there is no quarantine. We have eliminated the quarantine. Travelers must arrive to Peru with a negative PCR or a negative antigen test, taking no more than 72 hours before their flight. Also, what else? Travelers entering to Peru must fill out a sort of a statement, and this sort of a statement telling you that they don't have any COVID symptoms. And if you want to take a flight, a domestic flight from, for example, from Lima to Cusco, the only requirement that we are demanding is a sort of a statement telling that you don't have any symptoms of COVID-19, and of course the use of mask and face shields is mandatory in every flight. The next one, please. Okay, so now let's talk about some of our most important highlights located in the north of Peru. This one, for example, you can visit some places located in the coast of Peru, for example, Lambayeque and La Libertad. And in these places, is the Mecca of the Moche civilization. The Moche civilization was a pre-Incas culture. And you can find in these places archaeological sites like the Lord of Zipan, as you can see in the picture, that it was considered the most important archaeological discoveries, since its tomb and its gold and silver treasures that were found intact in the same tomb. So also all these pieces you can observe right now in the Royal Tomb of Zipan Museum located in Lambayeque. The next one, please. Now continuing, we have the region of La Libertad. La Libertad, which is also located in the north of Peru. And the Moche culture also led us impressive archaeological sites made of mud, like the Temple of the Sun and the Moon. And over there you can find like pyramidal adobe structure with colorful murals and iconography, as you can see in those pictures. And there is an area called Chicama, 30 minutes from Trujillo City, which is the capital of La Libertad. And over there you will find a tomb, or there was found a tomb of a warrior woman that called the Lady of Cow, and whose intact mummy is shown to the public today in a modern site museum, very close from the archaeological site. The next one, please. And also we have Lima. Lima is the capital of Peru and is located in the west central of Peru, and it's also the gateway to its different places. And all overseas flights arrive to Lima's International Airport, and most tours of the country begin in Lima. And as a visit to Peru would not be completed without an explanation of this historic and modern city, entertaining city, and also a gourmet city. And Lima is, I think it's a pleasure to visit the past in any one of the city's many museums. You can explore of the world's best preserved architecture and archaeology. And it also has a great monuments great churches, art collections in museums, in art galleries, old mansions, and also for this reason, Limas has declared a World Heritage Site by the UNESCO. And the next one, please. And in addition to its fantastic history, Lima also has a wonderful and cosmopolitan city. You can find beautiful neighborhoods like Miraflores and Barranco, as you can see in this picture. Those districts are located in the cliff sides that borders the Pacific Ocean. And it's very important to remark that Lima's culinary scene is among the best in the world. You will find the best restaurants in Peru, you will find it in Lima. And well, the next one, please. And well, we have Amazonas. Amazonas region is located in the northeast of Peru. Actually, there is a lot of people who get confused with the Amazon rainforest. However, this is not the Amazon rainforest. This is not the jungle. This is located in the cloud forest, but it has the name of Amazonas. The name of this region is Amazonas. And actually Amazonas, it was the mecca of the Chachapoyas culture, that it was a pre-Incas, another pre-Incas culture. And in this place, you can find the citadel of Cuelap, which is an impressive citadel that is located on the top of a mountain. And well, and now you can, it is very easy to get there because now there is a model cable car to reduce the time of getting there. And also we have the Gocta Falls, as you can see on the picture. And actually Gocta Falls is considered one of the highest waterfalls in the world. And if you want to visit it, you can take a 5 to 6 hour trek from Cocachimba to the Gocta Falls. And well, there's a lot of people who do it. I know a lot of families with little children that they can make it. They can make it, doing some stops, and some of them do it by horse, but you can make it without any problem. And the next one, please. And well, and this is Arequipa. Arequipa is located in the southwest of Peru, and this is where the Colca Valley is located. And this is the beginning point for the Colca Canyon. The Colca Canyon is one of the deepest canyons of the world. And among the sports activities that you can enjoy over there are the trekking, the whitewater rafting, the climbing, the mountain biking. And also it's popular because there is one place in the Colca Canyon where you can see the magnificent Andean condor, which is this big and huge bird, which is a very common, typical bird from the highlands of Peru. And there is a place there, specific in Colca Canyon where you can see it very, very close. And also for the active ones, you can do some trekkings for 2 or 3 days that starts from the base of the Colca Canyon, from the base to the top. For the ones who are not so active, they can have, or they can enjoy the same view in comfort in the 4 or 5 star hotels that are located in the area of Colca Canyon. The next one, please. Well, we have now Cusco, which is the ancient capital of the Inca Empire, and was placed of the World Heritage list by the UNESCO. Also, visitors can explore the Inca building among its cobblestone streets, and you will love getting lost in this calm streets, and you can stroll through the little shops admiring the workmanship and the art of the handicraft native. And also Cusco offers great accommodation. You can find from luxuries of five-star hotels to hostels and family houses. And also the city has a great offer of cafes, bars, and restaurants. And the next one, please. And 1 hour approximately from Cusco City is located the Sacred Valley. The Sacred Valley has a spectacular view of archaeological sites, of fertile farmlands, snow-capped mountains, and beautiful and picturesque villages that are surrounded the area, like the town of Pisac or Ollantaytambo, very, very common and very touristic in the area. And also one of the examples of the cultural experience that you can take in Sacred Valley is the weaving demonstration at the Center of Traditional Textiles in Chincheros village. And also there is some scenic or cultural explorations that you could also visit is the Maras salt mines, which is the picture down below and on the right. And this was built by the Incas time. However, it is still used for the salt collection today. The next one, please. And well, and now we have Machu Picchu, which is our Peru's great archaeological site and the most vibrant travel experience of the planet. And Machu Picchu is nestled in a mountain jungle with great, it's a great legacy. Actually, there is a lot of people who think that Machu Picchu is located in the highlands, but it's not so true at all, because it is located in the cloud forest of Cusco. The highlands, we can mention, for example, Cusco City, and I always recommend that if you want to visit Cusco City, Sacred Valley, and Machu Picchu, I recommend to visit the lower areas first. Like, for example, you can go first to the Sacred Valley, you can stay there like 4 or 5 days, and then you can go to Machu Picchu, which is located in a lower area than Sacred Valley. And then at the end, you can visit Cusco City, which is in the highest level. So if you follow this sequence, you can avoid any high altitude sickness. The next one, please.
Great advice.
Yes. Well, and now we have Puno. Puno is a city that lies on the shores of Lake Titicaca, and for me is one of my favorite place in Peru. Lake Titicaca is the highest navigable lake in the world, and is known as the capital of the Peruvian folklore, because it's home to multiple cultural expressions. And there are many islands located in the area, but the most popular are the Uros Reed Floating Island and the Taquile, renowned for its textile art. Some of the pictures that you can see are the Taquile Island, which is a very, very nice place. And actually, Taquile is located in the middle of the Lake Titicaca, and it has a well-organized people that offer lodging service, board service, and their own homes as for accommodation. And also they have traditional fabrics that are acknowledged by the UNESCO as a cultural patrimony of the humanity, since it's constitute a real work of art. And besides the Taquile Island, we have the Uros, which is a group of, as I mentioned before, a group of reed floating islands, and is one of the main attractions of the Lake Titicaca. And well, also on the right down on the picture, you can see Siyustani, as Istani is an archaeological compound located in the shores of Umayo Lake, and is formed by 90 chulpas that are a sort of tombs, and as you can see in the picture, and those chulpas were built by the volcanic stone blocks. And then the next one, please. And then we have our gastronomy. Peru has an exquisite and tremendously varied gastronomy. We have a lot of fusion of flavors from several continents and cultures, and visitors can discover the mixture of Peru's culture, learn about its history, and understand why Peru's cuisine is among the finest in the world. And also you can enjoy this experience combining with different activities, even though you are looking for a complete gastronomic tour or just as a complement of your trip. So the best way to learn our gastronomy is by visiting Peru itself. And Peruvian gastronomy is more than a tasty dish. Actually, we have a great legacy. And during these years, Peru has developed different kind of culinary experiences from, for example, gourmet picnics that you can take in the outside of Cusco or in the San Sacred Valley, or maybe you can share a homemade meals with villagers from Lake Titicaca in Puno, as you can see, I think in the picture that I show in the Puno slide. The next one, please. But also some of the experiences that you can do during your stay in Peru is visiting local markets. You will always find fresh products throughout the year in Peru. So you can go shopping with an expert to pick some fresh products before you cook. And also we have the cooking lessons. The next one, please. Some of the other activities that you can do in terms of culinary experiences are the cooking classes with a well-known chef, and always is a good option that you can take these classes in different places of Peru. You can practice these cooking lessons, for example, in a restaurant or in a private house or in a rooftop bar or on a catamaran of the shores of the beach, whatever you want. We have a lot of companies, of culinary companies, that they can set up all the cooking experience in the place that you want, even in Lima or in any place of Peru. The next one, please. And also Peruvian chefs have developed over the years, and some of them have been recognized as master chefs, and the restaurants are included within the world's 50 best list. So now you can have the chance to taste one of the world's finest cuisines in these prestigious restaurants during your visit to Peru. And most of these restaurants are located or in Cusco or in Lima. The next one, please. And then we have the festivities. Peru is, it has like 3,000 festivals and celebrations annually across the country. The Carnival, for example, is celebrated the week before Lent, with a lot of eating, drinking, and partying. And Cajamarca, which is located in the north part of Peru, is one of the wildest carnival celebrations. And then we have every year at the start of February, we have the Fiesta de la Candelaria, which is celebrated in Puno on the shores of Lake Titicaca. This is the picture on the right. This is a picture of the Candelaria Festival. And the festival includes a procession of the Virgin and more than 200 groups, music groups, and there are a lot of groups who dance with colorful outfits, as you can see in the picture. Then we have every June. No, this is the final slide. We had in every June we have in Cusco we have the Inti Raymi, that we celebrate the solstice tribute to the Incas sun god, and with we celebrate with parades and music and dance. And then the next one, please. And then why do I suggest to go to Peru? Well, first of all, we have our safe travel stamp. We have already obtained like last year, I think. But besides these, well, actually we have a lot of places, attractions and destinations that it has a safe travel stamp. And some of them are, for example, Cusco City, Secret Valley, Machu Picchu, Colca Valley, Cuelap. All of these places have obtained a safe travel stamp, so it is very safety to visit it. Then we have the connectivity. As I mentioned before, we have 9 stop flights from the US, and it takes like 5 to 8 hours to go to Peru. We don't have any jet lag because we are located in the same time zone of the US. During the winter, we are located on the Eastern time, and during the summer, we are located on the Central time. So it is very easy to visit Peru without any jet lag problem. Of course, American people don't need any visa. They only need a valid passport to go to Peru. Our current currency is the new sol, and $1 equals $1 equals like 3.9 soles. So it is very cheap for Americans to visit and to go shopping to Peru. And also we have a lot of adventure, cultural, living cultures that that you can combine it very well in one trip. I mentioned a lot of places, beautiful places that you can learn from our communities, from our culture. And that is, I think that for this reason, Peru is more than Machu Picchu. We are more than that. You can visit different places and with different beautiful places, and of the beaten destination places that a lot of people would enjoy very well. And well, and of course we have top accommodations. We have from 5-star hotels in our most important highlight attractions in Peru. We have beautiful boutique hotels, luxury lodges that are located in the Amazon rainforest. Also, we have the best luxurious trains in Latin America. One of them go from Cusco to Machu Picchu. We have a sleeper luxury train that cross the highlands of Peru from Cusco to Puno and to Arequipa, and you kind of have an amazing view having this trip. So I think there are a lot of reasons to visit Peru. And one of them, of course, is that I think that right now, if you want to visit one of the world's 7 wonders like Machu Picchu, I think that this is the time, because you will not get a lot of agglomeration right now. So if you want to visit, book your ticket to Peru and visit it, or maybe next year. But I think that this is the time. And well, I think that that's all. I don't know. And finally, I would like to present our latest video campaign, so you can have an idea of what is Peru right now. Thank you very much.
Is it sharing? Let me see. That one. Watch the video here.
Soon, you will go where you have only traveled with your imagination. Peru is getting ready to make you feel safe, cared for, protected. We have been turning distance into an art for years, caring about the smallest details because the effort is worth it. We have learned to build bridges to feel closer, uniting our paths regardless of how far we might be. Take a breath and enjoy a country that has lived in harmony with nature and the universe for over 5,000 years. Now, everything that makes us great will let us welcome you back. And we're preparing to make it special.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Cecilia. I'm going to cancel that video. I'm going to stop sharing and then let's open up to questions here. Can people still visit Taquile Island on Lake Titicaca? And then do they still have the train or boat or train over to Bolivia?
Yes, they can visit. Well, actually, Lake Titicaca is located in Puno. You can visit that at any time during this pandemic situation. They are already open. And yes, I know that there are some trips that goes to Bolivia. Oh, well, I'm from the Tourism Board of Peru, but I know that there are some trips that you can take in the same Puno that you can cross the borders to Bolivia without any problem.
Even right now with the different entry and exit restrictions and stuff like that?
I have to make sure. Yeah, I have to make sure.
Yeah.
Because I can tell it about my country, but right now maybe there could be some restrictions from the other side. Yeah.
Another person asked, do they still have Inca Cola?
Yeah, of course. the Peruvian
soda.
Soda.
Okay. And is there a train to Cerro Rico?
To
Cerro Rico, Rich Hill. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, please. Cerro Rico, no, Cerro Rico. There is not a very common attraction in Peru with that name.
And another question about Potosi. What exactly were you asking about Potosi? A train to Potosi or? Okay. So the question is, isn't that where Cerro Rico is near Potosi?
Potosi. Yeah, Potosi is located, I think, in Puno. Yeah, but actually, yeah, this is not a very, it's not part of the highlights in Peru, but yeah, there is. You can include it in the itinerary without any problem. But actually, it's not so close from the city. I think it's a couple of hours from Puno.
And for the people that go to Peru for the first time, do they usually combine it with Ecuador and Galapagos, or is that too much to handle? What do you think?
Well, there is a lot of people who combine very well Galapagos and Peru. Actually, a lot of American people that wants to visit Peru, they combine it with the Galapagos. Well, but it depends of what the people are looking for. You know, I think that if you want to visit Peru, I think that 10 days at minimum could be great. Less than 10 days, maybe you don't have the experience enough to learn about the country. I think that from 10 days or from 10 to 15 days is a good option. And a lot of people combine it, you know, Galapagos with the experience of visiting during these days Peru.
Another person asked, I'm interested in sorry, the chat's moving really fast. Cordillera Vilcanota expeditions. Could you please tell us about it?
Vilcanota, Cordillera Vilcanota, I'm interested in Cordillera Vilcanota expeditions. Could you please tell us about it? It's a bit of Cordillera. Yeah, Cordillera, Vilcanota is located, I think, in the central area of Peru. Is not so, I think that there is a lot of people who know very well some very of the beaten path destinations. Peru, Vilcanota is not a part of the highlights in Peru, but I can take note of it, and I can give us further information of Vilcanota, of Cordillera Vilcanota.
Another question was Manu National Park.
Yeah, the Manu National Park is located in Madre de Dios in the Amazon rainforest of Peru. And yeah, I think that the Manu National Park is not so so touristic, like, for example, the Pompata National Reserve, which is another reserve in the same Madre de Dios. And if you want to visit Manu National Park, I recommend for the bird watchers, for people who love bird watching and stay in a very calm place. This is an excellent place. It's an excellent place. And to get in there, to get into Puerto Maldonado, you can take a flight from Lima to Puerto Maldonado, that it takes like 1 hour and 50 minutes. Or if you want, you can take a 30 minutes flight from Cusco to Puerto Maldonado.
Okay, and then someone asked, do we need any vaccinations to enter either of your countries, aside from the COVID vaccine?
Not by the moment, not by the moment. As I mentioned, if, for example, if some travelers that are already vaccinated, they need to present a PCR, a negative PCR test, 72 hours they're checking. We are working on it. We are working in order to see if vaccinated people can enter to Peru without any, any forms and any test. But at the moment, or by the moment, they need to present this test.
How about the other vaccines, like yellow fever, I guess, if you're...
Oh, yeah. The yellow fever is if you need to go to the Amazon rainforest, to the jungle. It is not mandatory. However, it depends of the traveler. I always recommend to check with your doctor if they recommend to use it. But if you want to take this vaccination, it has to be 10 days prior your trip to Peru. But I think it is not necessary if you want to visit the coast and the highlands of Peru. It's not necessary. It's only if you want to visit the Amazon rainforest.
Right. And another comment was, I'd like to climb mountains like Huascaran and Alpamayo.
Yes. Yes. Well, yeah, actually, Huascaran and Alpamayo Mountain are located in Ancash region, which is located at the north of Lima. And yeah, actually, these are some of the best places for trekking in Peru. And actually, these are for professional people, because you have to be in good conditions to do this trekking. And well, actually, the Huascaran trek is one of the best treks. Is considered one of the best treks in the world, the Huascaran. So yeah, I think the person who created knows very well the destination.
And you talked about the train journey. I've seen the train journey. Could you describe a little bit more the luxury train ride that goes up, right? And then also the permits. I heard that you need now permits to visit Machu Picchu, correct?
Oh, well, to visit Machu Picchu, we don't have any permissions. However, we have some restrictions, like, for example, by the moment, we are permitting only 897 people per day. And this group, group of people must divide it in different schedules that goes from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And also it has to be divided in groups of 8 people, including the guide, and those groups must have a social distance of 20 meters. And we have all these restrictions, and also they have to use a mask. Yes, but it is not so difficult because the hike to Machu Picchu is very soft. You only need to walk around, scroll around, so it's not so difficult to use a mask, even if you do a hard trekking, you know.
And what are the best places for tourists in Lima besides Miraflores?
Well, there are a lot of places, as I mentioned in the presentation. We have a Barranco. Barranco is it's the Bohemian district of Lima. You will find beautiful cafes, beautiful bars. There is this is a district for the young people who wants to, to have fun and want to have any entertainment in the city. And besides this, I think the central historic city of Lima, the central historic, which is where you can find all of our old part of the city. You can find the colonial places, the colonial architecture, and you can find beautiful museums, great churches, and old mansions from the colonial times. So I think this is a mandatory stop if you want to visit the culture of Lima. And of course, we have different places, like for example, San Isidro, where are located all the best hotels in Lima. This is a good option because you can find a lot of entertainment over there, and there's a lot of people who do some exercises, some sports, that you can do some biking around San Isidro, around Miraflores, around Barranco. So I think you can visit the city very well in 2 or 3 days. And as I mentioned in the presentation, all the itineraries starts in Lima.
Right. It says, another question is, could you please tell us about Caminos del Inca trekking? He says this takes about 3 days to go to Machu Picchu around that time.
Yes, well, actually, the Inca Trail by the moment is closed due to the COVID situation. It's closed. However, yes, it's one of the most famous treks in Peru. It takes like 4 to 3 days. It starts in in the area of Sacred Valley. And well, and also we have offer different small treks that if you, for example, if you are not in good conditions, you can take this trek in 1 day or in 2 days. It depends of what you are looking for. However, the classical trek starts in Sacred Valley and it takes like 3 or 4 days. And also it's over there you can see the beautiful landscape of Cusco, with a lot of bush and a lot of vegetation, very nice. And there are some tour operators who that offers the glamping, which is these are luxurious camps or tents that you can camp in the Inca Trail with all the comfort that you can need it in that trek. It depends. We have different service in this trekking.
Did anybody have other questions for either of our guests? I'm kind of going through the chat right now. If you did have one, can you please put in the chat if it was further up top? I apologize, I'm trying to scroll through. Or you can unmute yourself and ask if you'd like to. Jeanette's question is, how about Mancora Beach?
Yeah, Mancora Beach is located in Piura in the north of Peru. Mancora has obtained a safe travel stamp. So if you want to visit it without any problem, you can visit it. And Mancora, yes, actually, Peru's beaches will never compare as, for example, Costa Rica beaches. We have a completely view, a completely landscape. However, those beaches combine very well with, if you want to, after all this trekking or adventure experience or cultural experience in Peru, you can end your trip in those pristine beaches like Mancora, like Vichayito, like Zorritos, located in Piura and Tumbes. And we have different small lodges and great hotels over there. And you can combine it very well with your itinerary.
Right. And someone mentioned another beach called Punta Sal Beach.
Yeah, Punta Sal, located in Tumbes, is the same as Mancora. It's located in Tumbes, which is north, is in the north of Piura. And yeah, well, actually, in these places you will always find great sun, great harmony, and great environment. And yeah, it's also for young people, but at the same time for families and for couples. And yeah, we have all the infrastructure, a great infrastructure over there.
Okay.
And I love Punta Sal. Punta Sal is a very nice and calm beach.
And someone says great food also.
Yeah, we know it, and we know it.
Any other questions for either of our guests or in general? Let me know. We have until 6:30, but if you wanted to head out, you can head out. But if you wanted to ask questions, please put them in the chat or unmute yourself. Okay. I'll wait another 30 seconds or so for other questions. And hopefully you're excited to go. I mean, it gives you an idea of the precautions everybody's taking and how much empty space, right? More focus on Peruvian mountains. So maybe Angelo, I can follow up with you. What is the best time to visit Cusco? Like best time of the year, I guess.
Well, Cusco or the highlands, I think the best time is during the dry season that goes from March to September, October, during the dry season, I think. And I think that if you want to see some vegetation during the area, I think that maybe April, May, or September and October, because this is the beginning of the rainy season or the end of the rainy season. So you will find a little bit of vegetation. And however, if you want, I don't know, it's not I think that if you go to July or in June or July or August, you will find more freezy weather in Cusco.
Okay. Any other questions? I don't know if Angelo or Angelo, if that's more of a comment or a question for yours. Peruvian mountains. Maybe
he refers to any trekking in the mountains of Peru, I suppose. Well, actually, we have different trekkings around Peru. And I can suggest, for example, if we kind of focus on Cusco, I can suggest two treks that are amazing. Some of them is Salcantay trek, located in Cusco, and the other one is Lares trek. And those treks, you can have the opportunity, if you want, you can do the trek by camping. However, there are some products that offer you the possibility to do a lodge-to-lodge trek. I mean that instead of camping, you can stay in beautiful lodges around the trek. And yeah, you can do it in Salcantay and as well as in Lares trek. And Salcantay is an alternative to the Inca Trail because it ends in Machu Picchu. Not Lares, but Lares ends very close from Machu Picchu. But Salcantay, this is an alternative. If you want maybe a completely different experience of trekking, in Peru without any agglomeration, like for example, the Inca Trail, that it has a lot of people or more people. I think that Salcantay is a good alternative.
I think that's our last question. I want to thank our guests, Bernal and Cecilia, for coming tonight. And thank you to all of you who's hopped on a Zoom call on a Saturday evening, especially to our guests who were a couple hours ahead of us, right? So I put my email in the chat, jeannie@rivetingtrips.com. I'll follow up with a link to the recording if you wanted to see it again later on once we get it all uploaded. And I will send you their contact information if you have more questions, or you can field them to me. But thank you again, everybody, for coming.
Thank you very much.
Wow.
Thank you very much, Jenny.
Okay, I'm going to stop recording. Okay.